Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today we're at Holmes Honda to answer the question, do you get enough features for a sticker price of $29,239 for this 2023 Honda Civic Sport? And you might wonder, isn't the price lower than that? Well, it actually is at $26,445. However, Holmes Honda added a few features, including splash guards. You're going to have wheel locks, also window tint, which looks like it hasn't been added yet, but that's on the sticker, so that will be added, as well as the trunk tray. So there are a few features that are added for that money. Very common for car dealerships to do that. Here is the trunk tray, and then underneath, let's see if I can do this one-handed, a spare tire. Always a good thing, brings peace of mind for everybody. The exterior color on this model is a Aegean blue, obviously going to have black interior, and these Civics only come in front-wheel drive. Would you be willing to pay the extra money if Honda were to add an all-wheel drive option? From every viewpoint, the Civic looks racy and sporty, and when you drive it, especially this 11th generation model, it feels more planted and stuck to the road than it did in the past, thanks to the retuned shocks and suspension. We're going to have the LED headlights and LED daytime running lights, obviously only available in front-wheel drive as of this time. What about tire and wheel size? 235 on the width, a 40 series sidewall, wrapped around those black 18-inch wheels. We'll have the gloss black mirror caps on the manually folding but power adjustable side view mirrors. Now, these are not heated on this trim level. I don't know that that means a lot to most people. Definitely not this time of the year is that when something is needed that is heated like that. So the heated side view mirrors not being here, I don't think are a big deal. Here is your remote for 2023. You're gonna have a remote start. I think that's the most important feature people ask about if I don't mention it. And it is a proximity key. Everything works as you would expect. We're gonna finish things off here on the rear with the LED tail lights. I'm gonna have that exhaust finisher down there. And cargo capacity comes in at a maximum 14.8 cubic feet. And if you want to lower the rear seats, you have one release right there. Notice there's just one. So it's one-sided, we don't have the split. I don't know, what do you think? Is that a benefit? Does it matter? Tell me what your thoughts are. The good news is that you do have that ability. If there's something you need to put into the trunk area, but it doesn't quite fit unless you bring it into this area. If you are not a fan of turbocharged engines, well, you'll be happy with what's under the hood. This is the 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. It makes 158 horsepower. The torque numbers come in at 138. It is mated to a well-behaved CVT, the continuously variable single-speed transmission. And let's take a look at those all-important MPGs. 30 city, 37 highway, 33 combined. And Honda says you should use 3 gallons of gas for every 100 miles you drive. You have capless fuel fill and a fuel tank capacity of 12.4 gallons. And the door bin size, well, seems to be decent for the size of sedan that we have here with the Civic. Could definitely fit a nice large bottle in there, or whatever snacks and other items anyone wishes to put in there in the back seat area. Nice soft touch armrest for the doors on each side. And we don't have air conditioning vents or USB connectivity back here. I don't know that anybody can complain at the price point where this model falls. An interior of this size, it's not going to take long to cool it down or warm it up, depending on the time of year. It's just hard to think of warm any time this time of year. So no sunroof on this trim level. Not a big deal necessarily. I think some people do like to have the sunroof. Personally, I'm not a big fan of sunroofs, but other people have different opinions on that. If you have a sunroof in your vehicle, tell me how often you open it. If you have a passenger who says, I'm not a fan of small door bins, they better call shotgun or grab the remote before the driver does, and they'll have the chance to have a larger door bin, because that's what we're going to find here on the front doors. A little more space overall, a little larger armrest right here. And then as we look into the interior, nice sporty material, or design I should say, on the material for the seats. It is cloth, not a big deal. And you do have manually adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger. And if somebody ever says, hey, what is the frame number of your Honda Civic? Here's where you're going to come to give them that information. Just in case you're curious to know exactly what was right there, now you know. And a nice sporty look. We have a little bit of gloss black in a few different areas of the vehicle, but I don't think it's going to be an issue with fingerprinting just because of its location. Very well located where that's concerned. And like I said, you have the wheel locks. That's what you're going to find right here. If you ever need to change a tire, the good thing about having a spare tire is this is the wheel lock. It's inside the bag. It just goes onto the lug wrench, and then you can take the wheel locks off. Nice size glove box right here. And then we're going to find some USB connectivity and 12-volt power outlet, as well as a little bit of space here. The conventional style shifter, no push button shifters on the Civics. That's always a good thing. Cup holders, we're going to have our drive mode selector. You can turn the auto stop start feature off right there. Your power parking brake and brake hold mode. And again, a lot of comfort found here. Comfortable armrest that doubles as the lid for the center console. And you have the tray right here that can go a couple of different places or be removed completely. A lot of space down within the center console. And as we take a look into the interior from the driver's side door, everything that you likely expect to find here is going to be here, as far as the adjustments for those power side view mirrors and controlling all of the windows. If you want to attempt a front wheel drive burnout with your Civic, well, you can turn traction control off right there. You also have the adjustable steering wheel that you can use. Drop the lever right here. You can drop that and adjust the steering wheel tilt and telescopically. That is not an issue whatsoever. Everything here nice and adjustable. It may not be power adjustable, but it is adjustable nonetheless. So everybody will be comfortable. And we also have our digital gauge cluster right here, instrument cluster for the driver. And what I'm going to do, I hit the home button right here a couple of times to get to the features right here that I'm going to scroll through on the left-hand side, just to quickly show you what is here, and then we'll work our way over to the 7-inch touchscreen. Now you're going to notice that flickering. You also saw that on the headlights earlier in the video. That has to do with the shutter speed of the GoPro. So in case you're curious, how can you make your vehicle do that, or why is the screen doing that? It's not really doing that. It's just looking through the shutter or the lens of the GoPro. So don't worry about that. No issues there. You've got all of your settings here. Everything here is super easy to use. While you have a lot of technology for the money here with the Civic, there's not an overload. For somebody who's coming from an older vehicle, well, this might be a good place to start for you as far as having modern day technology, but not having too much. Single zone climate control, as you can see. You don't have heated or ventilated seats. Would definitely love the ventilated seats. That would be helpful. And I told you about the mode selector right here. What exactly are the driving modes right here? Well, let's go up here and take a look. We have Econ, we have Normal, as you can see right there. There's Econ, and then we're going to go up to Sport mode. You can see the graphics that go with each one, and those are your driving modes. You also have the multi-view rear view camera, and again, that flickering has nothing to do with the screen itself. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. We have the 3 different views here. And speaking of those driving modes that I just showed you, well, why don't we get out on the road and see how the Civic handles on the road? It just rained a little while ago. What is it like to drive the Civic? I told you that it handles great, but how does it handle wet roads? We're not going to go too crazy, but we're going to get out there and find out. So we're out on the road for the test drive, and I know I said something about wet roads and seeing how the Civic handled, but as you can see, the roads are pretty well dried up. We had a lot of rain earlier this morning, so it's not that wet now, but one way or another, these Civics likely handle well on wet roads, especially if you drive responsibly. Didn't want it to sound like I was planning to do anything other than that. Anyway, the situation here is that I just love driving these Civics. And I know a lot of people are likely to say 158 horsepower isn't enough. Well, it really does a good job of getting the car down the road. The horsepower to weight ratio is very good here. And so, number one, it helps with gas mileage. Number two, it definitely feels like you're driving something that makes quite a bit more power than these Civics actually do, at least with this particular engine combination under the hood, because of those great handling capabilities that I have talked about a couple of times throughout the video. If you haven't driven one of these 11th generation Civics, do that. If you're thinking about buying one, if you're looking at the Civic and trying to figure out if that's something you want, or other models, the first time you drive one of these, and I'm sure some owners can verify this in the comments, you really notice the difference in the handling characteristics and capabilities. Just a fun car to drive. And it's comfortable. I don't want it to sound like it's a Cadillac, but it is comfortable, you know, about what you would expect. It doesn't beat you to death. I think it would be comfortable for a nice long road trip. Would be nice to find out, but just haven't had the opportunity to do that just yet. Maybe we'll get a press car at some point. And there is a nice amount of interior space for the driver and the passengers, especially here in the front seat, but the back seat isn't cramped either, at least for someone of my stature, 5'10", 175 pounds. So taller than 5'10", well, it's hard to say because I'm not any taller than that. I think you can get away with a little more height back there, but definitely here in the front seating area, because you can move the seats and make a lot of different adjustments without any trouble whatsoever as far as making sure you're comfortable. And like I said earlier in the video, I can't say this enough, the technology here, while you get a pretty reasonable amount for the money, it's not an overload. It's not so much that it's going to be a struggle to learn if you've maybe not had a new car in several years. And the other thing that's an advantage here, I gave you the gas mileage numbers. The MPGs, when you compare this to competitors, is that most of the time when you compare it to competitors, is going to have above average gas mileage. That's always a good thing, especially in this day and age, even though gas prices have come down a little bit in some areas. They're still not where they could be, so you can save every penny possible. That really helps. And I guess the driver of this Silverado in front of us was really paying a lot of attention to the Civic in his rearview mirror. That's why he was all over the road, right? No, probably has to do with the cell phone, but one way or another, I must say, these Civics are always a nice, fun vehicle to drive. So tell me what you think. Do you get the right features for a sticker price of $29,239? I know that's up from the $26,445, but I showed you what the additions are. Not that unusual to see that from Holmes Honda or any other car dealership for that matter. So I have to say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Civic Sport for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel. And if you want to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.